Today, as we record this, is Sunday. It's a big old milestone, and I didn't even know it until I saw Kevin say something about it earlier today. So I'm going to let him lead that discussion.
Guys, it's the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. It's huge. So I posted this really cool little picture. At least I can't say really cool. I thought it was kind of cool. I happened to be picking up some pet supplies, and I saw that they had like Jurassic Park stuff that you could put in your fish tank.
Oh, that was what that was for?
Nice.
That
That's
was
what
what
that
it
was.
was. It was stuff you could put in your fish tank.
That's
So,
awesome.
I posted this little photo of it, and I was like, "Happy birthday, Jurassic Park!" And I think folks like Brock, he didn't even realize that it was the 30th anniversary today of Jurassic Park. And you talk about a movie that changed cinema.
Yes,
that movie. My gosh, I mean,
that was a great movie experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's still kind of widely considered that one of the best scenes that Steven Spielberg has ever done was the introduction, the first time we see the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and the way that he saved that.
Yeah,
I will never forget as a kid just that wonder that you get, because you have no idea what's coming, and you see them, and he pulls his sunglasses off, and he's like he gets her looking at it, and then they get out, and all of a sudden it just zooms up, and you see this massive dinosaur, and we'd never seen anything like that before that was that good. We've seen cheesy stuff, but I mean, and that was like you're talking. We were talking earlier about VFX being able to be churned out like super fast. This was back in the day when they had Phil Tippett helping with doing the modeling, and then they went through the whole thing of like trying to do stop motion with it, and then they Steven Spielberg said, "I don't want to do that. I want to do something that's new. I want to do something with this computer stuff."
Well, it was
and then they had him help them with modeling and doing the actual VFX, and that stuff took forever back in the day, just to render a scene, just to render a frame. That was crazy.
And for being 30 years ago, those effects in that movie specifically still hold up.
I'll put it up against some modern movies. It's better than.
Heck yeah.
I will, as a huge Star Wars fan, I will say it actually holds up better than some of the effects from the prequels.
Yeah,
and that was after that was episode 1 was filmed 6 years after that when it came out. The technology should have leaked forward, but the thing was that even at that time, and you had people between then that they were using it, like you had the Matrix that came out around that time, that were using it in different ways. But so far as actually pushing the envelope, Jurassic Park was one of those films that pushed the envelope of computer effects, and then Star Wars did it. But it still blows my mind that Star Wars didn't while it pushed it forward, there are some effects in there that just don't seem anywhere near as good as what you ran into with Jurassic Park.
Well, they had a good marriage because they used VFX and you had practical effects, and then you said the models. Like it was a good balance.
Which Disney has now rediscovered that's the key to doing things, that you actually give your actors something to act against instead of a massive green wall and green things and
a tennis ball and a stick.
Well, and Star Wars fans love to joke that Padme, when she gets in her ship, she has her magic button that she always hits the same spot on the console to do everything. It's because they probably painted a button on the console and said, "Push this whenever you want to do something." So things like that, just be, notice things after you watch movies like that, and with Jurassic Park, you just didn't get that. Everything just seemed right, like the Velociraptors. Everything just worked. It was smooth.
And I mean, to me, one of the greatest movie moments of all time is that first appearance, that scene where the T-Rex comes on, and I mean, that was mind blowing just to sit there and watch that in the theater.
Yep.
The build up to it, when he's the water, the cup of water, and you see it, the vibration, and the build up to it. I mean, it's fabulous. It's one of those times being at the movies that will always stand out to me. is that
Well,
scene.
the thing with that movie is when we first see the brontosaurus, or I forget, was it brontosaurus? Yeah. So when we first see, I wanted to make sure I said the right dinosaur. It was either brontosaurus or brachiosaurus. I forget. I know the brachiosaur appeared later.
A long neck.
Long neck. The long neck. That movie easily could have peaked there.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It didn't.
No.
I mean, mostly that's Steven Spielberg. He's always going to push it a little further, but he knows when to stop. He knows when. Don't push it so hard that it's like it's unbelievable. It's like, what Jess was saying. It's like it could have peaked at that point and then just went downhill, but it didn't. It was more like a bridge. It's kind of up and then back down, and then when you get to the T-Rex moment, it's back up again.
Yeah,
and it's that was just as intense and just awe-inspiring as the first time we saw the dinosaurs.
No, to me, it's that lingering danger. It's like you see the T-Rex, you have that scene, the movie goes on, and that T-Rex is still a part. He's a part of this world, and he's still out there. So the build back up to the where it follows back up with the T-Rex it's just an amazing movie, and like we've said, it still holds up just as well 30 years later than it did the first time that I saw it.
And gave us one of the most amazing shots in cinema of Jeff Goldblum ripped shirt leaning across.
Oh yeah,
that is no Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
And I have that action figure somewhere in one of my cabinets of him leaning back
and giving us one of the Jeff Goldblum gave us two things, that and his laugh in that movie.
Yeah.
That's almost as good as Egon in the courtroom scene in Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
And
who would have thought Dr. Grant would just leap out of a moving vehicle?
Yeah. It's also, that's a great thing. There's a good quotable movie too. That's another thing.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Where's the goat?
Yeah.
and the one quote that we can't say because we're PG.
Yeah.
Well,
one big pile of
Jurassic Park is a great movie for sure. It's not one of my all-time favorite franchises, though. I have, and that's because I have not seen 2, 3, or 4.
And that's okay.
I saw Jurassic World, and I didn't see the 2 after that. So I've only seen 2 movies out of the franchise.
2's
the first one
okay.
is-
you go from that, and then you get the one movie where the T-Rex goes to LA, and then it's got, and then you see, the thing is like rampaging, and you see the Phillips 76 ball roll in front of it, and I'm like,
yeah.
Is this where we've gone to now? We're out of ideas. You guys are out of ideas.
That's what I heard is the sequels don't live up to the original whatsoever. And and based on that, hearing that back in the day, I never got around to watching them.
2 is all right because if you like Goldblum's character, that one's okay. 3 is cooler because that's the one where they go back to the park. And then I think World. I've seen World and the one after it, but we started to watch Dominion, but we didn't.
World was pretty good though.
Yeah, World was World was good.
I mean, it had Jamie Buffett in it, right?
Saving running with the margaritas. Yeah.
Well, what was fun about Jurassic World, and that was the one that came out in 2016, right?
Yeah.
That's the first Chris Pratt movie. What was fun is we were flying back from Sony. I was flying with Craig and Abby from YHS Podcast. We were on the same flight right across the aisle from each other. And it was a little turbulent. We were coming back from LA. And the time that all of a sudden there's the massive stampede of dinosaurs, the plane hit turbulence. At that exact moment. So it was like a 4D experience. I'm sitting there watching it on the the seat in front of me, and here come the dinosaurs. The turbulence hit, and we're shaking. I look over at Craig, and Craig will tell you this. He's not a great flyer. Craig, his hands were on the armrest, and I've never seen knuckles so white.
Oh, I bet.
His eyes were closed. He wasn't having it. But I'm sitting there going, dude, the dinosaurs. He shakes his head.
Well, maybe since we're talking the original, did any of y'all see it in the theater originally?
Yes.
Oh yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't because and this is where when we were talking about Jurassic Park, this brings me to my grumpiness on it. All right, the movie come out June 11th, 1993. You know when it was released on like home video for like rental or to purchase?
Probably 2 years later.
October 94.
Mm.
So like I remember, and I can remember this vividly when I was younger. We would go to the Galleria and they had a Suncoast there, and like they finally put a poster up that was like Jurassic Park coming October, and I was like, finally I can watch it. So
Suncoast was awesome.
Yeah,
I got some of the most awesome tie-dyed
Yes.
Star Wars shirts there that I still have that were amazing.
I miss the old Suncoast.
Yeah, there was a Suncoast in. Oh golly, was it? I guess I had moved to Texas by then. This was Star Trek Generations came out in November 18th of 1994, and I saw it in the theater 7 times and wanted so desperately to get my hands on it. And I had moved out to Texas by mid 95. Moved out to Texas, was stationed out there, and went into a Suncoast. And was looking through the catalog that they had, and I saw that Generations was going to hit on VHS. And I was, or it may have been the Suncoast in Biloxi, where I was stationed at Keesler. Before I moved to Texas, it may have been early '95. But anyway, I saw Generations listed in the catalog to buy on VHS, and I got really excited. And then I'm like, guys, like, can we go ahead and order this and stuff? Is it coming out? And they're like, yeah, you can go ahead and get an early copy of it. And I said, great. How much? Thinking back in the day, VHS, $25, $26.
Oh no.
And the guy looked it up in the system. Oh, you can have it for $150 to get an early copy before mass market hit. And I was like, I can wait. So I had to wait a few more months and I was able to buy it. But yeah.
It's with Jurassic Park. That's just made me think with Suncoast. Yeah, there were so many things I've seen I remember seeing it discounted at Suncoast that I wish I bought now because when I see what it goes for on eBay.
Well, I don't think we can finish the Jurassic Park discussion without talking about one of the best movie deaths in history. Also, out of Jurassic Park.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. That was a pretty
well, that one
you never think that when you just go to the restroom that's gonna be you're gonna have a T-Rex dive down right on top of you and just take you out.
And the thing is, Mattel released a limited edition on their the Creations website. They had an action figure diorama of that scene. And I missed getting it, and I was like,
That one. Like I said, also that movie was my first. Like I said, because I remember seeing the VHS. I was still young. I mean, let's see, 1994. I was 13. Yeah, 13. That was my first introduction to Samuel L. Jackson. And his. And maybe think you're talking about iconic deaths with his arm. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hold on to your butts.
I mean, I honestly didn't. I mean, when I was a kid, didn't realize that was Sam Jackson until you didn't really because I mean he had been in some stuff, but I mean, as a kid, I didn't really watch his stuff or anything that he was in really. But yeah, I remember when I saw it in the theaters. I mean, I would have been 13.
Yeah.
When it I would have been 13 for just a couple of months at that point, and I remember it was incredible. Like walking out of there, the way that I like to refer to that when I talk to people about it, I kind of gush about it. It's like I kind of feel like this is what people that saw Star Wars in the theater for the first time felt like. They walked out of it and they were like,
"Wow, yeah!
What did I just see? That was incredible! Yeah,
that was amazing."
Did you guys know what they just did with dinosaurs? Oh my god! I mean, I kind of feel like that's what people with Star Wars kind of probably felt.
Yeah. Well, of course, even that time frame, even in the 90s, the dinosaurs, every even young kid to early teens like us, everybody was all about some dinosaurs back then.
Yeah,
and then you really were about dinosaurs after that.
After Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, have you guys seen like the making of stories of Jurassic Park? How they did that in Hawaii, and then there was a massive hurricane that came by, and everyone was trapped there, and then that whole production had some voodoo, about it a little bit. It's pretty amazing that it turned out as good as it did. But I mean, come on, it's Spielberg.
Yeah,
like that's incredible. That was probably seriously. It's pretty much considered that first scene of seeing the long neck dinosaur. It's pretty much considered one of the best scenes that he's ever done in cinematic history.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hello.
Hurricane Iniki, I think is how it's pronounced. Says it came through during production. That was the most powerful storm to ever hit Hawaii. So, yeah, so there's a couple of quotes. Sam Neill had said, in his book that they came very close to dying in the hurricane. That the only person not phased was Richard Attenborough, who slept through the storm. In the behind-the-scenes featurette, Return to Jurassic Park, Spielberg recalls Attenborough brushing this off, telling him, "Oh, dear boy, darling, I survived the Blitz."
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And, of course, us living on the Gulf Coast, hurricanes are dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Yep.
We also think we said Return to Jurassic Park. Then you also got to talk about our man who's done so much with movies, Mr. John Williams, giving us some of the.
Yeah. Again, another great score. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Iconic.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, John Williams has defined movie music for us. Everybody else is, and I hate to say it because there are some phenomenal composers, that are out there, but everyone he dwarfs everybody.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, when he passes, that's going to be like, that'll be like Betty White for me. That's going to be huge. Because I mean, he's up there and he's still doing stuff. He's one guy that's kind of like, I'm just keeping busy. Yeah. And they just keep giving him stuff because he's John Williams. So